Hi everybody, Allison Kent here, the owner and creator of The Home Kitchen, a site for musings about food and gatherings, artisanal kitchen products, and kitchen design. And we're talking today with fabulous women for International Women's Day. And we're trying to figure out if we're going to be having technical difficulties with Danielle. We're going to be talking to Danielle Acken, who we've talked with before. She's amazing, and she's all about telling stories through food photography. But I can still talk about her, whether she's here or not, because, hey, she's fabulous. Her stories, or her photography, is all about storytelling. So it's not just there's a cranberry, it's like there's an entire cranberry field and farmers and people working the field, and so it's fun to get to talk to her. And I know that she has some she's trying to figure it out. I know that she also has some workshops coming up. She's based in Salt Spring Island, which is really close to us. So I met her when I signed up for her last workshop. I'm in Instagram. When I met up with her last workshop, I'm going to say 2 years ago, 1 year ago, and it was incredible. So I just recently signed up again for her next workshop, and I'm so excited. Hi, Janice. We're trying to get Danielle in if we can. I know she's working from a laptop, so it might not come through. And in the meantime, I'll just talk about her. So I actually met her before I even met her, because I loved her before I even met her, because she does a lot of the cover photography for Vancouver Island, Vancouver edible magazines, and always loved her photos. I didn't even know they were her photos. And then when I met her, I realized who she was and started putting all the pieces together. And then through that, I got to know her entire team. So with Emily Lycopolous and Aurelia, oh, I'm gonna forget your last name, sorry. Who does the styling, but together they've written 8 cookbooks with the styling and the photography and the storytelling and everything. So in her photography workshops, she's kind of teaching people how to go through that process of telling a story through photography, and she's specific mostly to food photography, which is my jam. But here, we'll try it one more time. But I know that it's probably applicable to a lot of things, just the practice of learning how to tell stories through taking your photos. I have a hard time with it in the kitchen when I'm cooking. I try and keep it natural and not overly staged. It doesn't work because you're flying through the kitchen, and you know what? The phone is turning up. Okay. Oh, I see. Her phone died. That's why she's on her computer. Yeah, her storytelling methods through and going through the cookbook, you're not just getting like the photography and the recipe, but you're actually getting the whole story behind the whole adventure. And this one, I talked to Emily and Danielle on this book, and it was an adventure. They spent like an entire year going back and forth to the East Coast to meet the people and write the book and take the photos and everything else. So it's like, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Okay, she's still going to try to come in, so I'll just keep talking about her. And I think Janice, who is on, is also coming to the next photography workshop, so I'm really excited about that, although everybody else who was there at the last one was actually a photographer, except me. So I was sitting there with my phone, trying to focus on like just the storytelling aspect. I am not a photographer. It is iPhone photography the whole way for me, so I was fairly intimidated by all you famous photographers, Janice, but very excited. And I think that there are still some spots in the workshop, so I'm really hoping she can come on and tell us about that, and also what's happening. I think that she's been like revving right back up with photo shoots and everything else, and I know she was quite busy today with whatever photo shoots she was doing. So it's like, it's nice to have things back, but it's almost like you're trying to do catch up, trying to catch up to all the work that's like piled up since COVID started. So I'm I know that the Rising Tide and the other cookbooks that I believe they've done 8 together with this team is the Eat Creative team. And they've been working together with the styling, the photography, and the chef, Emily, chef, together on these books. And I believe they're all available still. So all on Amazon and Chapters, Indigo, wherever you buy your books. Danielle Acken, who has joined. So that's, there we go.
Hi,
joined. So that's a big step.
Massive technical issues.
What I've learned today is I can go 6 minutes talking to myself and then I'm tapped out.
Oh my gosh.
That's enough. I'm glad we got you because I am so
How
excited.
are you?
I'm doing well. It's a beautiful sunny day.
Oh,
and I decided for you I would sit in front of one of my prop cupboards.
Very nice. I'm sitting in front of, well, all the tech.
All the tech, because you're the tech person.
Yeah.
You are. I was saying you weren't on, so you didn't hear me rambling, but I was saying that I actually was in love with you before I even met you because Edible Magazine is like one of the only magazines I grab ever. And I was falling in love with some of these photos. And it wasn't until I met you at the workshop that I realized those were your photos.
Oh, right.
It was like a backwards thing, but then I was like, oh, all the pieces are kind of coming together. And I was just talking with Karen Elgersma,
right,
from Edible Vancouver Island, which is more kind of where you're based. And yeah, what a small world it turns out to be.
I know. It's amazing. This area is it's so rife with artistic talent and so tight knit that once you start to meet her, it's like, oh, you know so and so, and you know so and so, and you know.
So just go ahead on the basis that you assume you know everybody knows everybody, and you're good.
Yeah.
Well, we met officially when I took the food photography workshop.
Yes.
Was that 2 years ago now, or is that 1 year ago?
I think it was 2 years ago. It was in that weird summery break from COVID that we got in the summer of 2020, when it almost felt like life would be normal again, and it wasn't.
When life tricked us and thought no, and then you're like, darn it.
Yeah.
And I was the only person there that didn't have a real camera because everybody else was coming at it from like a photographer's point of view. And I was there not as a photographer, but just somebody who wanted to learn how to tell stories with my iPhone. And so I felt a little bit inadequate, but you made me feel better.
The iPhones, to me, the iPhones are such great cameras anyway, and they have a whole other set of skills that need to go along with them. So whenever we teach the workshops, I always tell everybody, just bring what you're most comfortable with, because it'd be pointless for you to go borrow or buy a new big camera and then bring it to the workshop, because you're going to spend the whole time trying to figure out how to learn it rather than how to see food through it, you know?
Yes. And the focus was on the storytelling more than specifically the camera, the photographing.
Yeah, that was an amazing weekend. We have another one coming up in June this year. I'm really excited about it. It'll be the first time since that one that we've been able to hold one, so it'll be great.
And I'm coming back for it.
I know. Yeah, it's going to be amazing. Aurelia Louvet, who is, in my opinion, the world's greatest food stylist, but Aurelia Louvet and I are teaching at, and this year it's going to be at the Salty Pear Art Gallery, which is a really beautiful place. So I'm really excited.
Change of venue too will be like different kind of aspect of taking the photos, because before it was in a barn and it was very much that farm kind of centered story.
Right. And this time we're going to, I would say we're going to kick it up a notch. We're going to do a little bit more commercial and product placement, which I think is going to be really fun, while still being able to bring in the beauty for bloggers, all of that kind of stuff. But, you know, tricks on how to light glassware and beverages. It's the stuff I enjoy.
Useful information. There were so many styling tips which are really valuable, but as a product maker, that's going to be an extra fun class for me. I didn't even look at what the class is about. I'm like, she's doing a class, I'm going. And then I like was hiding it from my husband because I've booked 4 trips or something already this year. So I was trying to hide it from him for a while. I was like, if he sees me taking another trip, even if it's something as amazing as a workshop, he is going to hit the roof. So I let it just sit there for a little while before I finally told him.
No, I'm really excited. It's going to be a great weekend, and it's almost sold out instantly. And we let it out to our mailing list, which are people who have taken the classes before, and I think there's just a couple spots left. So it's almost full of returnees coming in, which is going to be really fun. So we can all reunite and hopefully meet some new folks too, which would be great.
And I think that's great because you're quite clear about it being an evolution from the last one. It wasn't going to be just the same information. This was going to be like different information, and you can attend one or the other both. So that was good.
Exactly. We've taught the other one a few times, and we've taught a bit of basics to food photography. So even for us, this is really exciting to be able to take it in a little bit of a different direction, and just looking at the people that are coming already, I think it's going to be a really fun group because everybody's quite talented in their own right, and yeah, it's going to be a fun weekend.
Exciting. How do people find it? Is it on the Eat Creative? Is it on Instagram?
My site on dlacken.com. I haven't even advertised it to Instagram or anything yet. Like I said, we just let it out to our mailing list, so I'll be doing that this week, and it'll be on my Instagram and on my links and stuff. So
Janice is on right now.
I know.
Yay!
Yeah, she's coming too. That's going to be great.
And still drooling over all the photos in this last cookbook. This is the last one you did, right?
It is? Yep.
Yes. And this was a feat. Like, I tell people the story of this book all the time, because not only is each photo a story, but this book is like a story in itself, because you guys trekked for this book.
It was 120 days on the road, I think. And it actually just won the Gourmand for travel and culinary travel in Canada. And it is shortlisted one of 6 for best in the world right now. So
what?
Yeah. I know, we're excited. It's the Gourmands are the culinary arm of Nobel, so we're pretty stoked.
That's amazing. Wow, congratulations.
Background. So we're like, we'll just call it a Nobel. That'll be fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Well, even gourmand sounds like fancy and amazing. Yeah. So if you're a food person, that's a meaningful word. And so you must be getting calls like crazy then to make another 25 cookbooks.
We have some proposals in with our publisher Random House right now with Appetite, and we're excited about that. There's one in particular we can't leak, but it would put us back on the road. There's 2 actually that will put us back on the road for a substantial amount of time, and I think we're both really ready for it. And then this one never really got the send-off that it deserved. So we're hoping to do another trip out east and do some press behind it because of COVID. It missed that window. Yeah, it's gonna 2022 is getting pretty I'm getting excited about the opportunity to travel again and to be able to move around and see old friends and meet new ones and do all of those things. I signed with an agency in New York this year, so I'm actually opening another studio in Birmingham, Alabama, which is really I'm thrilled because that's where our family is based out of, my husband's family. So
okay.
Yeah,
I was gonna say that's pretty far from the East Coast.
Yeah. Anything that'll take us down there will be great. So yeah, there's been a lot of excitement going on.
I don't know how you keep up with your own life because you still have kids at home too, don't you?
5.
5. Yeah, just 5. And were you homeschooling as well? Did we have that chat or no?
We do. I think all of our kids have done, like my eldest is 16 now, and I think he's done 4 years of school. So we just kind of let them go in and out whenever they feel like it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I have an 11-year-old, a 13-year-old, and a 6-year-old at home, mostly full time.
Mostly when they're showing up at home. We homeschooled for a few years and it was like the best years ever. It was so much fun. It was so free. It was just kind of go around. And then COVID hit and it was kind of funny to see all these parents that were just like completely lost trying to school their kids at home. And mine had gone to school by that point, but it was just like, oh, back to homeschooling. Okay, no big deal. Whatever.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened with us. It was just kind of rolled on. Christmas, when it was like an extra week, they had gotten used to being home again for like what, a month over the Christmas break, and they were kind of, the ones that were in were like, I don't know if we want to go back now. Like, I don't blame you. Home is fun.
Home is fun. I love home. My whole brand is like home. Just be home.
Yeah.
Home is good. I never got tired of it through COVID, but we were lucky, similar to you. We have 4 kids, so there was always a fullness. Even
Yes.
when we were stuck in quarantine, my daughter, who was in Calgary, had already moved back. She's like, if this is going to go down, we're going to do it together. And
Yeah.
so we
Well,
always had
like
people.
right now, I mean, because I'm crazy, I don't have enough kids at home. We took on a German exchange student this year. Circumstances, my son was friends with her, and he was like, she needs a place and she's already here, and I was like, sure, why not, what's one more. And now our eldest is home from London, England. Yesterday she got in, so there's 8 of us in the house right now, and it's awesome. It's like a party on its own every day. It's great.
So you were just having trouble finding bandwidth on the internet, I'm sure. That was
Absolutely.
with 8 people. It's just like everybody just shut down for a minute.
Yep. Oh, that, and we're on Salt Spring, so yes, that happens often. Turn off the box. Yeah.
Well, what was your journey to be getting into food photography? Like, was there always a storytelling kind of element to your entire journey, or is that just something that kind of developed? Or
I think so. I mean, I've been taking photos, you know, that it's the old adage, I've been taking photos since I could hold a camera, but I really did. I started really, really young, and I just always had a camera with me. And then I didn't actually get into food photography until really late. I was a photographer in the 90s, which is dating myself, but in the 90s. And then I left that, and I had a catering company in Vancouver, and I had a catering company in Toronto, and just really loved the food industry. And then got married and had the kids. And actually, it was when our third was born, I was bored. My husband's like, how can you be bored? You have 4, 2, and new. And I was like, I don't have anything to do. So he got me a camera, and my first digital camera, and that was, I think, 8 years ago now. So I jumped right back in and kind of combined my love with food and photography. And I think, you know, it's only been 8 years. I've done 29 cookbooks so far. I think that's it. Yeah.
only 8 years? Because I know about just 8 of them, and I was going to be impressed. 29 cookbooks.
Yeah.
Oh, no wonder you're the go-to, because the books really are beautiful. Like, when you have a lot of cookbooks, you have the ones that are just, you never really open, and they're over there, and you have the ones that you are your references that you're opening every day and every day and every day. But then you have the ones that you just want to cuddle up with on the sofa, and you want to go through and like read all the stories. And it's like a book that happens to have recipes. Almost, it's almost like it's a trip.
That's what we had hoped for. I wanted it to be something that people would actually read. My other passion, I have a degree in English, and so my other passion is writing. And the nice thing about working with the EAT team, which is Aurelia styling, she makes the food look incredible. Emily does a lot of the technical research. She's our logistics queen, and every single thing that she cooks is unbelievably delicious, and her recipes are also really approachable. So I always call her the Canadian Ina Garten, because they're so replicable at home. You know, it's easy to go home, take the book, and make it, and it's delicious every single time. And that's a skill that I really value. And then, you know, I get to wander with the camera and take pictures of really beautiful places. So it was, yeah, it was a journey of love for sure.
Because you 3 have worked together for that whole 8 years, or?
Yep. Emily, I shot Emily's first cookbook. You can date everything by your children, can't you? Allison was born. So it was 6 years ago that I met Emily. I shot her first cookbook, and then I've done another 6 with her after that, including Cedar and Salt, which was our first together that we wrote, and then this one that we wrote together. And then Aurelia and I met 5 years ago when I first got to Salt Spring. And I had to do the Find America book, which was 160 recipes. And I couldn't do it alone, so
No, she's magical because all the
she,
tips and stuff. So when I'm taking a photo, I'll be like, oh yeah, that glass is on a weird angle. So we're just gonna tuck something underneath and we're gonna make it look like it's crooked to make it look straight in a photo. And she just had so many tips and tricks that were valuable, and I'm really excited to learn a bunch more.
yeah, she just left. We've been shooting all morning, and it was a very delicious morning. I always like it. We have to do French crepes because she's French and she makes the best crepes in the world. So
See, that was my fault in today. I should have also interviewed some food people because I've only interviewed wine people, and so I've only been drinking and I haven't been eating all day. I've only been sipping and I've had no food to go with it. So that's a mistake I'll correct for next year. Well, I'm glad we could get online, even if it's just for a few minutes.
I know, very technical. Like I said, you're lucky if you get a signal most days up here. So,
well, as long as your photos get to be downloaded into your computer at some point in time, you're all good.
Kind of the joy of being here too. Oh, I can't get in touch. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Too bad. Slow pace of life. Bye.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for persevering and getting in there. And
I'm super stoked you're coming in June. It's going to be so much fun.
I'm excited, and I finally even told my husband about it, so it's official.
No backing out now.
And the few spots that are left, people can find on Danielle Acken photography website.
Yep.
.com.
Yep. If you go to the Instagram, which is here, I will go put a link to it now.
Perfect, because the Instagram will be listed under this video. So. Thank you so much for popping in.
Okay.
Can't wait to see you in June.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.